Thank you for watching WISD TV and welcome to the Art Forum of Waco. It's located at 19th and Morrow Street, right here near downtown Waco. And the reason we're here is because University High School, Waco High School, and our middle school students all have art on display at this facility right now during the month of June. And it's an exciting time for them because they get to show their artwork to more people than just their fellow schoolmates when they have it on display at school. I'm joined by Jesus Rivera. He is actually the owner of the Art Forum of Waco, and he has invited our students to have their artwork on display here. This is Edward Gutierrez. He is an art teacher at University High School, and Darla Southerth is a senior, a graduate now of University High School, but took art classes at University High School this year. First, we're going to turn and talk to Jesus, and number one question really is, you invited some student artists to have their work on display here at the Art Forum, something you own. Why did you do that?
So, well, I did that because I'm first organizing this event with Eduardo and several teachers in the community. And I say, Eduardo, it was his idea, and we say, well, we have to support the students. Because I have saw some of they are, and it's incredible. And the Art Forum is always open for children or adult people who wants to display their art. And it's our mission, the Art Forum, to promote that diversity and a big talent. Yes.
Well, I'm certainly impressed with your facility here, a fantastic looking facility, displaying artwork of all kinds here, including yours. Talk a little bit about your history with art.
Okay, well, I'm started doing art since I was little in Mexico. And I remember my parents, they sent me to Mexico City, and I work in soap operas and dancing, theater. But the fine arts, it was one of my strong disciplines. And it's when I'm working more in painting, more than symbolic pieces of art. And it's what I like to do, yes.
Very wonderful. Talk a little bit about why you moved to Waco. I think you told me a moment ago you've been here about 6 years. You moved to Waco, you bought this facility. What was the reason behind that?
Oh, the reason behind that, well, I found out that Waco is a great city. For me, it is. I'm keeping saying that Waco is a romantic city. The atmosphere that Waco has, and that beautiful river, the history, and the people from Waco is a great people, very humble people, and people like art. And to be here in Waco is Central Texas, and this is a great place to live.
And you even mentioned to me also that when you paint, you consider yourself sort of a romantic painter. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I am a romantic person. I say that painting that way because it's just an idea that came through my mind, and I go very fluently with my brush strokes. And I grew up in with a lot of art in my childhood with my mom and my dad. Right. And maybe that's what I like to do for all my life.
Very good. Now, you also brought a very world-famous artist who comes to town and works here, Rodolfo Razzo. For people who don't know, I mean, he's internationally known. He's a native of El Paso, Texas, but now artists and artist lovers around the world know that name, don't they?
Oh, yes. Rodolfo Razzo started his career at the University of Texas. And then he moved back, I believe, in 40s, 50s to New York City. And when he started his career in New York City, and he's a really big artist, and I meet this guy in El Paso. And I say, Razzo, you have to come to Waco. Waco is a great city to live, and we have a lot of art, people like art. He visited us here when we opened the grand opening last year, April the 14th, and he's in love now. He has art studio with us. We're happy.
Yeah, talk about his studio, and in particular, he's already done a piece of artwork that sort of has Waco images on it. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, he got in love with Waco like me, and he said, Jesus, we have to do something, a painting represents Waco. and we went to the city and take a lot of photographs, and for him the most important monumental buildings here in Waco, and that's when he started this painting at the beginning of this year. Hmm.
And on that painting is even the new Baylor Stadium that's not even built yet. So he knows what that's going to look like.
Yeah, we saw the image, the new Baylor Stadium, and internet, we approached it, and Razo say, we have to paint the new stadium. So it's a symbolic painting because he's not here yet, but he's historical right there in his painting. Yeah, and it's the Dr. Paper Museum, the Waco Suspension Bridge, and the Alico, Baylor University. Very happy painting.
Well, I tell you what, on behalf of Waco ISD and the students here and the art teachers, thank you so much, Jesus Rivera, for opening up your art shop here to let our students' artwork be on display. And thank you for the support of the arts here in Waco. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome, sir. It's our mission to do that because Art Forum is a place for children, so anyone wants to come and exhibit their art. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Jesus. Let's turn now and talk to Edward Gutierrez, who is an art teacher at university and one of his students this past year, Darla Sutterth. Edward, that about says it all, though. I mean, to open up this facility for your students and Heather Hughes' students and the students from the middle schools and Waco High as well, that means a lot, doesn't it?
Oh, it means it's a big deal. I mean, the students had an opportunity to put their artwork in a professional setting. I mean, it's very rare that a student gets that opportunity, and to have that happen is a huge accomplishment. You know, Jesus has been very, very gracious and cooperative with the whole process, and I think it shows. The show does really come together and works well.
Talk about some of the artwork on display here, and it represents the type of artwork that you try to teach your students at University High School and the middle schools as well.
Right. Well, there's a huge variety here. I mean, there's there's drawing, there's sculpture, there's clay, there's silk screening, weaving. There's a huge, just a huge amount of work that it represents different media. It's very, very well-rounded group.
One of the things that you did this year that was very phenomenal, I thought, and really your students produced some great products, was the papier-mâché masks. If you would talk a little bit about that and what all goes into teaching those students how to do that.
Right. Well, papier-mâché, it's basic materials, but Heather Hughes, my colleague, she has been teaching that process of the mask making for a few years, and I think she's really perfected the process, or as far as teaching it to the students. I myself did teach papier-mâché, and my students have some projects that are really well made. Yeah, she does well, and at teaching the mask making, which one of her pieces, one of her students' pieces made it to state this year. So it's really, really good.
We'll talk about those state qualifiers in just a moment, but I want to talk to you a little bit about the display that's right behind us, and probably behind the camera they'll be able to see it, and we'll have some closer-up shots of it in just a moment. But the busts, it looks like, are those self-portraits? I mean, those are three-dimensional, actually busts. Talk about those.
Right. So the objective was to make a bust of themselves, meaning that a likeness. They have to get, just basic shape from starting from clay and a structure, a wire structure inside of it, and then the goal is to then make a sculpture that looks like that resembles your face. Mm-hmm. And so for a lot of them, it was very difficult. But for some, they really took the challenge on, and did well. I mean, some of them are, a few of them that you see behind us, really, if you looked at their face, there's a huge resemblance, a big resemblance to their likeness. So they did well.
Right, and some of them you mentioned look like the likeness of the student in question. Some of them don't. And you know that sometimes art can be frustrating. Talk about what you try to do with students as they become frustrated.
Right. Well, I try to push them as much as I can to get to that objective of getting the likeness. But at some point, some of them, I do see that there's a huge amount of frustration, And I tell them, at this point, you're free to do what you believe, you can best be successful at. And some of them, one of them chose to do their grandfather, and their it really worked out for them because I enjoyed them actually making the attempt and then being successful at it. Yeah, because it really resembles they had a picture of him, so which, if you saw the picture, you'd be convinced that it was, good attempt at that.
As a high school art teacher, when you see students produce products that really look good, can you talk a little bit about how you feel as an art teacher?
That's one of the biggest satisfactions as a teacher. I mean, we all talk about, test scores, and, teachers get that type of satisfaction, the core teachers, as they call them. But for a person that teaches art, when I see a student grab a material that's raw, has no shape, and you end up with a lot of effort, and skill, they gain an amount of skill, they end up with a product, as you called it, and you went from zero to a huge change in the manipulation of the material. And that's, for me, that's where I get my satisfaction, to see that process evolve, and then at the end you see a finished product that resembled something in their mind, resembled an idea they had, and that is, for me, the biggest satisfaction.
And you also have some satisfaction in knowing that you, as you mentioned, had 2 students this year, one yours and one Heather's, go to what's called state vase competition. If you would talk a little bit about vase, what that is, and it's an outlet for these students to show their work.
Right, it's an outlet, and it's sort of bringing it to the level of UIL type academic. If you think about it that way, it's an opportunity for students that in the visual arts to compete and be judged, and then sort of an unbiased opinion besides their art teachers, and that it was a big experience for them going to that competition, and the part of the judging is they get a sheet with comments from the judge, and I think that, for me, reading those and seeing the students react to those opinions, I think it was a really good experience for them, because some of them have really good commentary, and some of them they didn't like it, but at the same time they had that experience of somebody unbiased, that wasn't in their classroom, talk about it and give their opinion. But that's it was a good experience.
And one of the students was Guadalupe Lara, and I believe that product was paper mache, a mask. And we'll take a look at that. And also, and that was Heather Hughes' student, I believe. Exactly. Yours was Mark Andrade. Right. Let's talk about his artwork that advanced to state.
Right. Well, Mark is, he's worked really hard he's been a student 2 years. And he's very creative. He's a little unsure of himself sometimes, but, just seeing him be successful at this piece that went to state, seeing him sort of change that opinion about himself. At the point where he learned that his piece was going, his excitement was huge. And I saw that in his face, and that was, for me, a really good experience, because he worked on it on Photoshop. The process is you start with a drawing, right? Like I said earlier, the process for me is important. So you start with the drawing, and then you go from the drawing to the computer. And then in the computer, you spend a lot of time manipulating the color, and the elements there that you deal with. It's not the same as with your hands, but you still have to have a certain amount of skill. Mm-hmm. And he has, like I said, he had a hard time with it because he didn't believe that this was artwork, and that's a lot of people's opinions also, that graphic art is not artwork, but more and more it's being accepted as a legitimate medium to work with to realize an idea, and I think to see that his work went to state, I think was it was a good experience, like I said.
Well, you had a great year, and speaking of mediums of art, we're going to now talk to Darla Sutterth because her medium was a mosaic, and it's in the background behind us. We'll take a closer look at it in just a moment. But Darla, first of all, talk about taking art classes. You're now a graduate of University High School, but you were a part of art classes under Mr. Gutierrez and possibly even Miss Hughes. But if you would talk about being a part of that and what you learned.
Well, in art class, of course, you always learn different kinds of art, how you can use different mediums to make art, all that kind of stuff. But I'd probably have to say the one lesson that I've always learned is let your art show yourself. Don't let it show someone else. And it has to be from you, from your heart.
Talk about your mosaic, if you would, and how you developed that.
My mosaic, I'd been going through kind of a phase where I just kind of do these little doodles of the girls with the swirly hair and all that. And I came up with an idea. I was like, oh my gosh, this would look so cool as a mosaic. So, of course, I asked Mr. Gutierrez if I could do that. He said, sure, you can go ahead and sketch me out of things so I could see it. And so I did, and he agreed with it. So we got the tiles and all the materials and everything. And then I got started and just poof.
Was the mosaic one of the most fun things you've done in art class?
It was definitely one of the more fun things that I've done. Of course, whenever I do art, it's always fun. There are multiple pieces in here that I've done, and every single one of them was fun for me.
Well, I got to talk to you about having them on display. I mean, you displayed them at school for other students to see, but to be able to display your work where the actual public gets to come in and see it if they want to, what kind of feeling does that give a student like you?
It's amazing. It's just very, very thrilling to me to actually be able to have it in a setting like this. I mean, this is beautiful. And actually have other people come and see it. And it's just, it's a dream. And it's something not every student gets. So it's definitely a privilege and a blessing as well. And it's just amazing.
And you've had a chance, as tours have come through, to sort of explain what you did and sort of let them know what kind of work goes behind the scenes?
Yes. I remember when we first opened the gallery, I was able to especially explain it to, I know my family came and saw it. I was especially able to explain it to them. And I'd say the most complicated one was probably the digital media piece I did of the robot girl in the hallway there. And there's definitely a lot that goes into it. You have to draw it, and you have to take it to the computer and use multiple things like Photoshop, Illustrator, and you've got to make sure you got the right colors, you like it, and that it all works, Good
deal. Well, I got to talk to you about your future. You graduated a couple of weeks ago. If you would, tell me what your plans are.
I plan on going to Texas State in San Marcos. I'm so excited. I'm going to study social work. One day I would like to connect social work and religion and work in a place like that so people can come and have a sanctuary, Art will definitely be a hobby in the future. I'm not giving art up. On my desk in college, there will most definitely be a sketchbook and colored pencils and odds and ends and stuff like that. So.
And the roots are at University High School of your artwork, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Darla Sutterth, congratulations on being a part of this exhibit here, and best of luck as you head to college.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, once again, we are at the Art Forum of Waco, and Edward, final question. Any future artists at University High School? I would think so.
Oh, definitely. I think there's a lot of potential. And it's seeing them in this setting, like we said earlier, is huge for Waco ISD and the students, and hopefully the parents have enjoyed it also.
Good deal. Edward Gutierrez is an art teacher at University High School. One of his students was Darla Sutterth. And of course, Jesus Rivera is the owner of the Art Forum of Waco. We are at the Art Forum of Waco. Come and visit it. It's at the corner of 19th and Morrow here in Waco. My name is Dale Caffey. We'll see you next time.